Okay, members, it's 4 o'clock, so we'll make a start. You're welcome to the July meeting of the Assurance, Audit and Risk Committee. We're going to start now with notice and summons of meeting and attendances. Denise.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, members. To all members of the Assurance, Audit and Risk Committee, you're hereby summoned to attend the monthly meeting of the committee to be held today in the Council Chamber, Guildhall, Tuesday the 16th of July at 4 o'clock. Alderman Guy, Alderman Carrigan, Councillor Raymond Barr, Councillor Clark, Councillor Deany,
And Shaw.
Councillor Devine,
And Shaw.
Councillor Donnelly, Councillor Gallagher, Councillor Leonard,
Shaw.
Councillor Logue, Councillor Murphy, Councillor Norris.
Chair, if I could save the Chief Executive a little bit of time, I'll offer apologies for Councillor Norris, Councillor Riley and Councillor Tierney.
Thank you. And thank you, members. Thank you, Chair.
Moving on into the broadcasting statement. I'd like to remind everyone present that this meeting will be broadcast live to the internet and will be capable of repeated viewing. This broadcast may be terminated or suspended in accordance with our protocol. If you're seated in the lower public seating media area, it is possible that the recording cameras will capture your image, and this will result in the possibility that your image will become part of the broadcast. By entering the council chamber and using the press or lower public seating area, you are consenting to being filmed and consenting to the use and storage of those images for broadcasting or training purposes and for the purpose of keeping historical records and making those records available to the public. If you wish to avoid this, you should move to the upper public gallery. A copy of the council's privacy notice can be found on the council website. Moving on now to item 4 and declaration of members' interest. Do we have any declarations? No, so moving on to chairperson's business, and I haven't been contacted about any items. So moving on then to item 6, matters arising from the open minutes of the Assurance, Audit and Risk Committee held on Monday the 17th of June. Do we have any matters arising? No. Moving on then to item 7, risk review processes and update on council service risk registers, and Denise is going to lead that.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, members. The purpose of this report is to update you and to seek your endorsement on the ongoing risk review processes in accordance with our risk management strategy and to provide you with an update on the service risk register reviews completed during the previous quarter. Members will note from the report that a number of service risk registers have been reviewed during the last quarter and they're detailed there for your information. And 3 of the risk registers which have been reviewed during the review period are attached in detail for you, members. And upon review of the completed risk registers, you will note that all risks identified have controls in place, and where there are high scoring risks, further actions are in place to ensure that all efforts are being taken to mitigate against the risk occurring. Included within the report is the Critical Risk Action Plan, illustrating 10 risks with a residual score of 15 or more across all service areas. The plan includes the action taken to mitigate the risks as much as possible, and a summary of all of these risks is included in the report for members' information. A critical risk variance report is also attached, illustrating the residual scoring movements during the 12-month period, and that has also been included for your information. All implications, members, are highlighted within the risk registers, and today I would just seek your endorsement for the risk review processes in place within Council. I'm happy to take any comments or questions you have. Thank you.
Go ahead, Brona.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Denise, for the very wholesome report there. Just in relation to the North West Partnership and the level of the risk is at 20. And my question is in relation to how are risks, when they get to that level, escalated up to the corporate risk register if they're needed to be? Thank you.
Thank you, Brona. Brona, the process we have in place is, as you know, every service area has a service risk register. We sit down with the service manager and review all of the risks. So when we sit down with that service manager, we review the risk. If there's a high scoring risk and the service manager has taken all possible action that they can, and they can't mitigate it further anymore, there's no further action plan that they can put in place, that's then elevated to the corporate risk register. And that's the process we use for all the risks.
Just through you, Chair, just in relation to that particular risk, Brona, we have just a number of weeks ago written to both governments with a concept note with regard to the funding. We've met with them twice with regard to the urgency of it, and we've also provided them with a concept note setting out the necessity for it, the time frame for it, and the purpose of it. So we hope to hear back from them shortly.
Councillor Leonard.
Thank you, Chair. Denise, thanks for the report. Could I ask one question just about the resilience planning and the risk about failure to provide out of hours on call? I see there's a plan in place to discuss it in October of this year. Is there anything in place in the interim if anything happens? Denise, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Leonard. We obviously do have out of hours arrangements in place all the time, but we don't have a formal procedure for out of hours, so we don't have staff formally on call. So that's what that risk is relating to. But I mean, our SLT are on call. We answer the phone at all times. So we have an informal relationship with all our staff in terms of out of hours. But that's to formalise that process, and we're hoping to do that in the coming weeks and months.
Thank you for that.
All right, Councillor Leonard. Alderman Guy.
Thanks, Chair. Just on the same matter, I know that obviously the senior leadership team are only a phone call away, but we're coming on what seems to be an ever-growing time when heavy downpours are coming July, August, September. Obviously, the 1 in 100-year flood happened 2017. Since then, we've had 2 other occasions. Is it perhaps maybe a good idea to get a meeting before we break up for the summer, just to go over a few things and maybe with the resilience team, just to maybe put something in plan that at least all councillors know if anything should happen over that period? Thanks, Chair.
Yeah, that's no problem, Alderman Guys. You know, we have the Adverse Weather Working Group and we meet regularly. So our resilience manager is currently liaising with member services to get dates in the diaries that suits all members. So hopefully that'll be coming out to you in the next week or so, and we'll get that date in the diary as soon as possible.
Any further questions? So we have apologies. A recommendation to endorse the report. Be someone that can propose. And thank you, Councillor Oak, and seconded by Councillor Leonard. Okay, so moving on now to item 8, members' training.
Thank you, Chair. Members, the purpose of this report is to update you in relation to training for this committee. We do appreciate that the role of members on the committee is a challenging one, and we do need strong members with an appropriate range of skills and experience, as the committee will be required to act as the conscience of the organisation, providing insight and strong constructive challenge where required. As a result of that, it is important that regular training is provided to members to allow them to carry out their role as efficiently and effectively as possible. Members, I know a number of you have been on this committee for quite some time and have attended the training before, but we appreciate that we have a number of new members and it would be useful to provide updated training as well. We have liaised with member services and they've advised that Monday the 23rd of September is free in the evening. Now we have committee that day, we have audit committee, so I just wanted to seek your endorsement if you're content that we do maybe an hour's training following committee, as long as the committee doesn't last for 4 hours that night. If we do an hour's training following committee, and it'll save you coming back in another day. Thanks for that.
Are members happy with that? Somebody want to propose? Alderman Guy, seconded by Councillor Leonard. So members, the next two items, 9 and 10, are open for information. So any comments or questions on item 9, performance improvement? No. And item 10, annual performance report 23-24.
It's just to remind members that both of those reports were presented to Governance Committee yesterday, but it's necessary to also bring them to this Audit Committee.
Okay, so if everybody's content, we'll move on then into confidential.